Hello everyone and welcome to this first match of Day 3 of the second NEO2 Open. This is CCP Fozzie, I'm joined by CCP Rise, and we have Facebook Alliance versus About As Good as German Ski Lesson. Both of these teams have brought out setups with actually very similar game plans. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them, Rise?
Sure. So for Facebook, you can see there Vindicator, Armageddon, Demos, 2 Thoraxes, and then Namalis and 2 Inquisitors. And on the German Ski Lesson side, Balgorn, Navy Dominix, Oniro Celestis, 2 Vengeances, Malediction, and Punisher. So, as you were saying before the match, these are both teams that look like they want to be able to at least deal with a Marauder. A lot of cap war and a lot of damage. Some interesting differences in their choices. The Vindicator versus Navy Dominix choices, kind of an interesting one. And then Facebook Alliance going with Thoraxes and a Demos instead of that kind of more disruption support based, as well as having the bigger reps from the Oniro. So, kind of the Inquisitors are another focal point for this map, whether they can. This match, whether they can. Yeah, they're going to have to stay alive. The Vengeances and the Malediction, I'm sure, are going to make it a high priority to try to take them down. And the Balgorn will be able to very easily newt them out, although the Geddon can also do the same to a Oniros very quickly. The match has begun. Both teams did come in at very long range, so they're not really within high damage of each other, range of each other right away. Damage already being applied to Jarek in the Thorax for Facebook Alliance, but it's being repped quite easily. I think it's going to be another few moments before they get within range to start applying their newts and wearing each other down. Yeah, they're actually being very restrained for the start of the match here. There's a little bit of fire trading across, but neither team is really, you can see the velocities there. Nobody's actually moving very fast at all. They're kind of just taking their time, maybe analyzing kind of what the other team's doing or looking for the spot that they want to go for, or I'm not sure. Maybe just waiting for the other team to commit, but...
yeah, this is definitely a very cautious start. We see the German Ski Lesson side has dropped out Curators from their Navy Dominix, so those are going to be able to hit across this distance, but obviously just one Navy Dominix's worth of Curators is not hitting all that hard. Right. So the Facebook Alliance team is easily able to rep that up. These two setups are both, in this kind of matchup, going to be very slow-paced. They need to win the cap war, and that's a fairly long, grinding battle. And so we're probably going to see the cap kind of going on behind the scenes. It's not something that's visible, cap levels in this UI, but you'll start seeing people die once they run out of cap.
Oh, interesting. So that you can see there the German Ski Lesson Vengeances all picked up speed and pounced on that Maulus.
Yes.
The Maulus got himself way away from the rest of his support, a lot closer to the German Ski Lesson team. It's interesting that he's kind of stranded out there. I don't really know how that happened to him or if there was something particular he was trying to accomplish, but he's in trouble now.
And he's not being repped. He's just, Oniros isn't even being damned. He was just out of rep range of the Oniros. That seems to me like a mistake.
Of the Inquisitors. Because that was the Facebook Maulus, so...
you're right, sorry, so the Inquisitor's very short range, actually.
Right.
So yeah, in that case, he really needed to stay in very close to get rep. That going out there, he was the only member of his team that was crossing the halfway point there and went all the way over.
I have to feel like he may have even started going in that, like, accidentally hit approach or accidentally double-clicked and not realized it and burned off kind of the wrong way, because there's really no reason he would want to be out there.
And that really, really hurt the Facebook Alliance team. Both teams have one key damping ship. It's the Maulus on Facebook Alliance and the Celestis on About As Good as German Ski Lesson. Having a couple of damps is very powerful, especially against the enemy logistics. We actually see the damps from About As Good as German Ski Lesson right now applied to the Armageddon, trying to reduce that effectiveness of the long-range newts. There's a lot of really powerful things you can do with damps in a tournament like this, and losing a damping ship like the Maulus for no reason is a pretty big loss.
You can see now a Thorax is tackled for Facebook. One thing that losing the Maulus also does is it forces Facebook to commit. Like, Facebook has to be the aggressor now because they're behind on points. So Ski Lesson can actually just wait, and Facebook has to make a move. And it looks like they are doing that, but they've got a Thorax now that is right underneath most of the German Ski Lesson team. You can see him here. And he's actually tanking for now, but that's going to be a tough situation for him to be in for sure. Thorax is not really known for their tank.
He charged way out ahead. Once again, like he was across the field before the rest of his team had even picked up speed. I mean, they probably got the order to charge in.
Right.
The Thorax is just a lot faster, and he didn't really take into account how slow the rest of his team was.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure that they just gave the word, like, we have to go now. We lost the ship. We have to go. And so they pick a target, and then the Thorax just goes. But yeah, got way out in front, and he's dead now for that. So
yeah, this is really the sign of a very experienced tournament team for About As Good as German Ski Lesson. They realized that what they could do. They had time. This match is a whole 10 minutes long. There was only 4 minutes into it. They could wait to try to exploit mistakes from Facebook Alliance, and that was a very smart move because we've already seen 2 significant mistakes. And now the Demos for Epic Za there and for Facebook Alliance is starting to drop down as well, and he's going to be under very heavy newting pressure anymore. Actually, the Inquisitors are being newted, so they're they're going to be unable to rep very, very quickly.
I'm actually impressed with how long the Inquisitors have stayed up. I'm sure those, here you can see the Vengeances on top of them, and they would have gone for that pretty quickly as soon as they were close enough, as soon as the fight was sort of engaged. And the Inquisitors have actually tanked quite a while. They've been tackled now for a good 60 seconds or something, and they haven't gone down. But of course, now the Newt's starting to kick in. They're not able to rep as easily. It's still hanging in there, but I think before long we'll start seeing those tanks break.
Some reps going on, probably powered by a cap booster, but it's just not going to be enough to keep both the other Inquisitor and the Demos alive,
exactly.
who are both under fire.
They're focusing on keeping the Inquisitor up, but at the cost of losing that Demos. That's hurts pretty bad. And I have to think it's also a really bad sign that Facebook Alliance is trying to kill those Vengeances. They're trying to save their Inquisitors by attacking the Vengeances. Killing Vengeances is really difficult, especially with the sort of composition that Facebook has. So the Vengeance is not even struggling to tank in the meantime.
We're going to have an Inquisitor going down.
Bleed ships here,
Yeah, and the key strength of the Inquisitor and other Logi Frigate teams in this tournament is that they have two of them, so they can rep each other. Once you lose one, you drop well below half effectiveness, because the other then goes away very quickly, as we see the second Inquisitor now dropping like a rock. This is going to be, are going to see probably the Vengeance. Oh, no, there he is bouncing all the way back. He was dropping into low armor there. He is taking a lot of damage, but Vengeance is very low signature, very high resistances. They're assault frigates. They're the strongest, heaviest type of frigate. They're very hard to kill. And the Aneros of About as Good as the German Ski Lesson is doing a very good job of keeping his frigs alive. At this point, it's just going to be actual mop-up. This is a very, very strong performance from About as Good as the German Ski Lesson.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Facebook did manage to kill a Punisher at some point. I'm not sure if you mentioned that, but I didn't see it. At least a small victory, I guess. But yeah, Thorax going down now for Facebook, leaving just their two battleships, and
they're being heavily neuted. So I'm sure they're going to be losing their hardeners before too long. This is really an example of how it was some pretty big mistakes from Facebook Alliance that gave the match away. But one of the things that good tournament teams do very well is allowing the other team to make mistakes. They don't get into any kind of rush. They wait for the other team to make a move. We see this a lot from the Warlords team, from the Hydra guys. They're very good at moving around on the outside of a battle with fast ships and then pouncing when they see a mistake, but no sooner. And this was About as Good as the German Ski Lesson, basically saying we have time to wait for a hostile mistake, and then we can decide if they don't make a mistake, we can reevaluate. But it just worked out perfectly here.
How do you feel about the choice between Vindicator and Navy Dominix?
I actually, the Navy Dominix is cheaper in this setup on points, and I think that allowed them to then upgrade to the Balgorn. I do think I actually prefer the Balgorn Navy Dominix pairing to the Vindicator Armageddon. You have heavier neuting, and the Navy Domi does a lot of the same things as the Vindicator does if you don't need the webs.
Right. Yeah, the webs are really the only key difference. Otherwise, the Dominix's damage is actually more flexible, being able to well, actually, it just has more of it, basically.
Yeah, but it can't hit with sentries for a while.
Yeah, so I was going to say it has sentries, but you could throw sentries into the Vindy. I guess they just wouldn't be bonused, so it wouldn't be as much damage. But Vindicator down now for Facebook Alliance, just that one Armageddon left, and they should be able to finish him off in these 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, so About as Good as the German Ski Lesson will be moving on through the losers bracket. They are going to have a very tough match if my math is correct of who they're facing next, because it'll be either Agmar team or No Boundaries, I think. Okay. Actually, no, it won't. They'll be facing someone from the winners bracket first. Or maybe not. We'll have to take a look at the
I mean, the winners bracket's pretty brutal too. The thing is, we're getting to that point in the tournament, especially after the 8 eliminations at the start of today. There really won't be any easy matches left. We're definitely getting to a point where all the cubes are out, and there's only pretty good teams left.
Yeah, I definitely think it is going to be a tough run, but About as Good as German Ski Lesson is one of the stronger teams in this that's already into this losers bracket. They're definitely one of the teams that's casting a bit of a shadow over it. They're a team with a lot of tournament experience. These are the guys that have competed as suddenly spaceships before, as the monocle-wearing internet crime fighter team. They've been around the tournaments for a long time, and they've always performed very well, and this is no different.
Goggles. I don't know why I had to bring monocles into it. Anyway, that's it for this one. We'll show you guys some ads from the players, and then we'll be back in just a second.